The date was 26th February 2009, and it was 5 p.m. in the evening. Major Kamaldeep Singh Sindhu was wrapping up the day's work when an emergency code was activated. The order was to prepare a strike force equivalent to a full battalion of paratroopers. A similar emergency code had been received in the previous night as well, but it was called off at the last moment. This time, however, within just a few hours of the order being received, 5 Ilyushin Il-76 and AN-32 cargo planes landed, and within 2.5 hours, Major Sindhu found himself at Kalaikunda Air Force Station, West Bengal, primarily used for deployments and surveillance in the Bay of Bengal, Andaman Islands, and surrounding areas. Around 1,000 Indian paratroopers were brought to the Kalaikunda Air Force Base on that day. Military preparations had begun, and a similar atmosphere was brewing in Jorhat and Agartala as well, meaning that Bangladesh was being completely surrounded. Why was all this happening? All these preparations were being made in response to an operation in Bangladesh. The paramilitary force of Bangladesh, Bangladesh Rifles BDR, had revolted. The BDR was responsible for guarding the borders in Bangladesh, just as the BSF does in India. This rebellion began during a ceremony. Sheikh Hasina had recently been elected as Prime Minister, and in February, she inaugurated the BDR Week ceremony. The very next day, a commotion broke out during the ceremony. Some soldiers of the BDR had complaints that higher officers were mistreating them. The situation escalated, and the soldiers took the Director General and other senior officers hostage. As soon as news of the crisis reached, the army in Bangladesh sprang into action and surrounded the BDR headquarters in Pilkhana from all sides. The situation didn't stop there. Soon, reports of violence and arson began pouring in from all over Bangladesh. Many senior officers were killed, including the BDR's Director General and his wife. As the situation worsened, Sheikh Hasina sought help from India. Avinash Paliwa writes in his book that Sheikh Hasina did not trust her own army and directly sought India's help. She called someone she trusted who shared her background, India's Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. In a situation of crisis, the first call of the head of the nation should have been to the Prime Minister's office. But since Pranab Da was from Bengal and had a long-standing acquaintance with Sheikh Hasina, she directly called Pranab Da. Foreign Secretary Shiv Shankar Menon immediately became active, and efforts to rally support for Hasina from the USA, the UK, and Japan began. According to the book, India had already decided to send its army. Preparations were made at 3 Air Force stations, paratroopers were ready, and a plan to evacuate Sheikh Hasina was drawn up. To ensure Sheikh Hasina's safety, the Indian Army had prepared a rescue operation. The Army's plan was to enter Bangladesh from 3 sides. The first step was to secure Dhaka's 2 airports, Hazrat Shah Jalal Airport and Tejgaon Airport, which also served as a Bangladesh Air Force base. Paratroopers were given specific instructions that their priority was Sheikh Hasina. The army had also prepared to reach Sheikh Hasina's residence, Ganababan, and safely extract her. Weapons were even distributed to the first line of attack. What would have happened if the Bangladeshi army had resisted? According to Major General mentioned in the book, if a fight had been necessary, the entire corps, consisting of approximately 20,000 to 40,000 soldiers, was ready to enter Bangladesh. The book states that Bangladesh's army chief, General Moin-Uddin Ahmed, was informed by India that under no circumstances should Sheikh Hasina be harmed, or else there would be consequences. The situation in Bangladesh had escalated to an army versus paramilitary conflict, but General Moin-Uddin did not use force, fearing that if he did, Indian troops would enter Bangladesh. However, in the end, Indian intervention was not needed.